Well, welcome back, my friends, to Season 5 of the GitGud Championship. My name is Bull Skunk alongside Pulse, and we just came out of an advanced match where we saw Project Icarus game and take the victory 3-1 over the Batcat boys. Now we're headed to the rookie division where we've got Pogchamp Cast taking on Chaos.
And it was honestly a fantastic 3-1. Both teams were pulling quite some amazing plays out, but Project Icarus, like you said, able to take it 3-1. And now we're looking at the rookie division. So for anyone unfamiliar with GitGud or how Elo Held ranks these tournaments, rookie is going to be in the 2,500 to 3,000 SR range. So we're looking at platinum teams. And the two teams that we have today for this are going to be Chaos versus Pogchamp Cast, just like you said, with Chaos taking a 4-2 record so far, while Pogchamp is at a 5-1. So far with Chaos, they're going to be running today Deep Voice and Karmaria, okay, on their tank line, Tardis and Werthers on their DPS line, and then Bird and Itsy Boy are going to be rounding out their support line.
Yes, indeed. For Pogchamp Cast, looks like we're going to get Utel Scaro and Basher are going to start us off in the DPS role. Broccoli and Senpai will be your tanks here for the Pogchamp Cast, with Ry6N and Relux are going to be your healers there for Pogchamp today.
And these two teams, like we said, very similar record. We are going to be starting out the exact same way that we did with our last match, and that's going to be on Lijiang Tower. So a very fantastic map, a very varied map. And if teams want to play, like Pharah, or if they want to run things like Echo, which have been popular from time to time, then this would be the map to pull it out. But so far, both these teams have some pretty interesting compositions lined up for us on their team sheet. We see a lot of Junkrat, we see a lot of Ashe, we see a lot more Moira than we did last map, but nothing too surprising given the SR range.
It looks to be a fun set of hero picks that we're looking at. We get privy to what these players' favorite heroes are to use, or at least most use heroes on these teams. And the Doomfist stands out to me. It'd be fun to see some Doomfist here today. And like the Junkrat would be another one that stands out. And going into Lijiang Tower, these control maps just kind of have their own little metas, their own little micro metas built into these individual rounds. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some Mei come out here as well.
Yeah, and especially starting out pretty much the exact same way, even going to Control Center first. Yep. That Junkrat is going to be getting quite a bit of value. So we do see these teams coming out. Junkrat, McCree. The only thing that I'd be surprised if it sticks right now is going to be that Bastion, but...
yeah! Okay, yeah. Didn't think so.
Back there, I'm like, Bastion? Like, I guess? But we do see an Ashe and Junkrat coming out. So dueling Junkrats, dueling Reinhardts. The big difference, right, between these two teams is going to be that support line. Bat Brig versus a Mora and a Lucio.
So a lot more sustain here for Chaos. Also the Zarya there for Chaos as well. So a little bit more damage, but not as much shielding and utility. Werther's taking a lot of that damage early, and Karmaria is going to be the one to find first blood here in this series. They lose the main tank on the side of Chaos, though. Karmaria does pick up a second kill, so one-man advantage for Chaos in the red jerseys as they vie for control of a first point here. First point presence. Well, on Control Center. Utel Scaro answers back, gets the kill on the Deep Voice. This match has evolved down. Karmaria continuing to put the hurt down here for Chaos as he's going to enable him to get that first control started.
Yeah, and they do get the first control started. They already have a Moira Coalescence, which is pretty big, but we do see the Ashe from the side of Pogchamp coming online with that Bob already, which is relatively impressive, but not really surprising given all of these dynamites that have been coming out. One good tire from either of these Junkrats, which are both very close to it, shut this down very early on, so they need to be careful.
I think right now the sustain at Chaos is holding them well as both support ults online. Karmaria going to go in throw a tire to the mix, finds two despite the immortality field. Deep Voice is going to throw the Butler back into spawn. Werther's picking up a little bit more substantial kill as Senpai drops and Chaos maintaining control here.
Yeah, and they really only needed the tire too. They did drop Sound Barrier as well, so that's not something they'll have to respond to, that Sigma Gravitic Flux, but they still are having trouble finding their way in here. UTL Scarvo did drop the Bob, didn't find anything, and is now swapping over to the man. It's Basher's turn on this Junkrat to try and find something big with a tire. If they can catch Bird out, maybe draw the Coalescence before tiring, the mortar is going to be an easy picking, so that's something to be careful of.
That Gravitic block is going to be used to initiate the fight. Amplification Matrix coming out from Pogchamp cast as well as that tire. Broccoli's going to go in, throw an Earth Shatter down. The Earth Shatter finds 3, but the tire got destroyed. All of these ultimates coming out, and only 1 kill to show for it here for Pogchamp cast. Now 5-man Shatter from Chaos, and the follow-up there. Deep Boy's trying to throw a Deadeye into the mix as well. Doesn't even need it. And it will be Chaos taking this thing right on back.
Yeah, but they did actually give up control and some of the point, but the Junkrats are able to find the last kills on this, and Bird held on to the Coalescence the entire time. They didn't even really need to drop that point control, but alas, they have plenty of ults to close this out, sitting at 83% already. They have the Graviton, they have the Junkrat tire, and they have the Coalescence. This is all in favor of Chaos right now.
That makes it a lot worse considering how many ultimates Chaos weathered, and now they're going to throw the tire in! Oh, and it finds 3! TARDIS getting into the mix as well. Coalescence finally coming out to help seal the deal. And Ed sealed the deal. They indeed do. 1-0 lead here on Lijiang Tower for Chaos.
Yeah, an absolute fireworks to close that match, but when you have that much of an ult advantage going into the last fight, you can afford to do it. So they were able to close it out. Graviton, tired, Coalescence all come out, just completely shut them down from touching the point, and now this is starting to give me serious deja vu because we're going to Gardens
right
next,
back into
the other map we saw earlier, and again we see the Pharah coming out from Pogchamp, so not too surprising. They are using this Lucio Mora though, so Lucio's likely going to speed boost switch over to the Mercy if they do want to run this Pharmacy, but they might just be opting to teleport instead. So that means that this will be a chance for Chaos to try and get point control. Both of them are matching, but we do see Basher go back over to the Pharah with no Mercy to help out, but the Dynamite is what finds the first pick here.
Both teams pathing over through light side, fighting over this tiny room and access to the objective itself. With the Pharah raining so much damage in from above, and Pogchamp cast doing a great job of keeping Chaos outside and available for that Pharah to throw all that damage down into. But they just loop back around, and Pogchamp cast manages to push their way onto the objective as they had bought control of that room. Deep Voice does answer back, picking the Pharah out of the sky, and Chaos throwing down their Coalescence, and they're going to try to take this objective right on back. You tell Scarro, sit in the back, try to get a pick. It's going to be Broccoli. Going to be shut down this assault, finding 2 kills, both onto the supports. Pogchamp cast will hold on with 22% progress.
Yeah, and they were able to capture that with pretty much no resistance early on, so this whole time they were just playing to build up their own ultimates. Now Deep Voice making the switch over to Ashe just to match You tell Scarro, and we're in a position where we haven't really seen before. Pogchamp have complete control of this point. They have their complete ult advantage right now, with Relux coming in with that Coalescence over Bird's minor 40 percentage, and these Dynamites have just been stalling out these fights and forcing teams to waste a lot of time coming in. Broccoli's just looking for a Shatter right now.
TARDIS with a Shatter of his own, and TARDIS gets the big block, shutting down Broccoli Shatter. Sound barrier out from Pogchamp cast, and Senpai is going to find the kill onto TARDIS there, but falls himself. So we're looking at a 5v5 here on the point. Chaos missing their Reinhardt. Camarilla does find a kill. Bird getting in the mix as well, but Coalescence out from Pogchamp cast, and they're going to be able to find a pair of kills utilizing that extra healing. Basher clicking heads there at the end to help maintain control.
Basher on that Prey now. They have the double hit scan, no Junkrat of their own, but right now they have complete control over this point. No ultimates to show for it. Basher will get very close to that Deadeye. Senpai will get very close to that Graviton. They need one of those to hold off because I see 6 check marks from the offense.
Yeah, Chaos with all the tools in the world here to finally get some progress started on Gardens. But you tell Scarro with those killer Dynamites once again shuts down the Chaos as they try to come in. Basher with the big 2-man Deadeye, but Camarilla with a 2-man tire from the other side. Broccoli gets a kill, but the Bob on the point, the difference maker, the big old Butler, showing up in a big old way, and we're all tied up here on Lijiang Tower.
And that's basically an exact opposite of the first map, where we saw Chaos more or less never give up control point. There was some percentage build up from Pogchamp, but the fight, they kind of just gave it up and still won the fight anyway. So more or less 200 zeros, or the equivalent of coming out on Lijiang, one for each team. And going into Night Market, neither team really has a set advantage here. We did see a lot more resistance coming in from Pogchamp when they're running the double hit scan, but double hit scan, not something you generally see on Night Market. It's a little bit more difficult for those heroes to get sight lines that they need to provide value, but both teams initially starting on the Symmetra, nothing too surprising. It gives you an option to teleport to point very quick, so first one to point will have their turret nest set up early on.
Yeah, I'm looking at U12 on the Junkrat, though. There's going to be so much more up close and personal damage as opposed to the Hanzo from the other side, as both teams fall out of the sky onto the objective. Pogchamp cast falls into the back corner of the point. Oh, Camarilla finds 2 kills, and U12 just backs himself right off the side. Chaos. They're going to get first progress before it started here at Night Market.
Yeah, I was absolutely agreeing with you on the Junkrat pick being a little bit better, but you know, when you just buy that much space and force the other team to back themselves off the side, that's going to be an easy fight when coming in from Chaos. And now they have complete point control. They have the ult advantage. They have everything they need to start building a percentage and close out this map in their favor. Bird getting very close to that coalescence early on. Tardis matching Broccoli, both of them very high ult percentage charge, so either Shatter can come online first here.
Very aggressive posture from Chaos if they're looking to hold this point. They're not satisfied with just sitting on the objective itself. Initially taking that front presence, building up that extra ult charge. We're going to go and throw a Coalescence down to try to hold things off. Deep Voice finding an early pick. Camarilla, Photon Barrier coming out. Split up Pogchamp cast. I'm going to keep swapping that one. Here comes the Earth Shatter from Chaos. The Earth Shatter finding 2. I'm not even sure if they needed it. It's a very expensive fight, but Chaos will maintain control.
Yeah, they do invest pretty much everything they had online, but Werther will get up to that Graviton, does find Senpai, which is a massive kill, meaning that Senpai will not be able to enter this next fight with any charge, but they used a lot of ultimates, they got a lot of ultimates back, and now we're looking at a Graviton plus a Dragon Strike coming out from Chaos. That's pretty much all you need to win this fight, whereas Senpai will have the Graviton, Broccoli will have a Shatter, but again, the Graviton came out from the defense. They're able to hold this, put so much pressure, and the Dragon Strike is late, but does find the first pick.
I was worried. Deep Voice was over 95% when the Graviton Surge was launched. He does manage to get up and find a kill. Tardis able to take out his counterpart Reinhardt as well. So despite only being 5 men, Chaos had lost a casualty during that engagement. They still win the war here, at least in that fight, and now almost 90% on the board.
Yeah, it looks like the Lucio from Rise 6 not N will be able to get in and touch, but not when your Mora dies that quickly. He's going to be jumping into a turret's nest by himself, but the entire team is there to respond. The Shatter comes out, it's huge. The Photon Barrier's there, but doesn't find anything, but the Junkrat is not going to be able to drop the tire very easily.
No, in fact, the only thing dropping easily are the bodies of Pogchamp. And that's Chaos taking the 100-0 victory on Night Market and a 1-0 lead in our series.
And very, very dominant on the last map of Lijiang Night Market. They were able to just completely get to point, shut down even at the comp disadvantage, not running their own Junkrat, and were just able to close out that fight very quickly. And Tardis landing some really big shatters. Some of them were just even for cleanup, but honestly showing us, trying to prove that he might be able to stand up to Audis in a 1v1 Rhine fight, right?
Definitely. Audis was the main tank player there in our last match that was in the advanced division. So talk about this rookie Reinhardt being able to hold his own against somebody of that caliber. And I mean, but it looked every bit. I mean, just looked super strong.
Afterwards, for sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're setting that up. Tardis versus Audis 1v1. An impressive showing from Pogchamp Cast going back to the second round, overcoming a massive old deficit to move in and actually win that point. In the end, Chaos, their discipline showing through, and they're going to take that early lead. So we'll have Pogchamp's map pick coming up here directly.
Mm-hmm. And based on their team sheet, because team sheets have been lying to us all night, so we know that they're a relevant source of information, but I would have to expect Rialto, right? Like, that's the one they listed. Most of the time, teams like to go to the map that they like to play, so I'd have to expect that coming out.
Indeed,
And
we are going to see Rialto here in second map. You hit the nail on the head, my friend.
yeah, and there will be a side swap as well. So formerly Chaos was in red, now moving over to blue side. They will be defending first on this map. Escort mode plays a lot differently with the Escort plays a lot more differently than control maps. And we saw that in our last cast. That's just a known fact. Control is kind of the black sheep of Overwatch map types. And this is really where I think a lot of teams have their series start, because like you can lose control and still win a series.
Oh, I've seen it time and time again. Yes, sir.
And it's good to get that early control win when you can, just for your mental game, especially like teams in this range in gold, platinum. Mental comes into play a lot stronger than like advanced GM games, because you build up that mental fortitude. That's part of like climbing the ranks in Overwatch. So having a bad showing to start can be pretty detrimental to your team. But now it's going to be on Pogchamp cast to try and get their heads back in this, to try and have their showing to prove that, hey, that was just control. We don't care about control. We can win the other 3 map types when we're feeling good, right? So it's really going to be up to them to try and bring the series, rein it back under their control.
Momentum of so important, especially at this division. I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. But we were speaking of, some wafts of London Spitfire earlier, and I'm reminded with they couldn't win a control map to save their life, but they could turn around and win Escort, win Assault, especially back in season 1 where they took the championship. Nevertheless, could never win a control map. So perhaps a similar situation here for Pogchamp Cast.
Yeah, it can always happen. And for anyone that didn't get to see our match earlier, Escort was a very interesting thing, because I think we saw from everyone on this production crew, including both myself and Bullskunk, the first time in an Escort map where one team had 0% progress, like 0 meters, 0.00. And Rialto is another map like Junkertown where you can do something like that. The 0.00 was in overtime, so I don't want to like try and fool people into being like, oh yeah, it was like a 1-0 lead because it was a 3-4, but it was still a 0.00 hold. And Rialto is one of the first times, like in my scrim experience, in my competitive amateur Overwatch experience, where I've seen teams really put on good holds and actually hold that competitively. If you want to go up to spawn, Rialto is a map where you can do it. You saw it in World Cup. You saw it a couple times in Overwatch League. You run like a Rhine, something else that can just hold a spawn door, hold a corner, and swing. But it doesn't look like Pogchamp will have to put up with that from their offense. We do see a Doomfist and an Ashe coming out, though, so one big Dynamite plus the Seismic Slam can easily spell a fight win for the offense here.
Running into the Rhine, Zarya, Junkrat, Ashe on the defense. We'll see if Basher can find his way around, navigate around the traps of Camarilla. Utel just kind of working this flank angle on the off. Deep Voice does find first kill, favoring the defense. Basher testing the waters here with the Doomfist. Didn't like what he's seeing, is going to back right on out.
Yeah, a little hesitant to commit to a play, especially when they're already down one, waiting on their Lucio to respawn. Deep Voice getting very low, but able to get out. The Doomfist sees a juicy-looking Junkrat, but almost gets taken down himself for it, and is taken down by Deep Voice on the back.
Great teamwork from the DPS duo from Chaos as Camarilla set him up. Deep Voice took him down with the Viper. Follows it up the great kill onto Util. Camarilla does eventually fall, but res available. Defense back at a full 6-man roster. 2-man advantage here on the first corner. Now the front line, they've managed to split off the defense a little bit as Pogchamp, they kind of forced the tank line of Chaos over to that left-hand side. That's not where you want to be, and they do find the kill on a TARDIS, opening things up here a bit.
Yeah, but the remaining defense members pull back all the way up to the point B, and the Doomfist trying to find some purchase, but instead just gets free space. And now TARDIS will be coming back with Werthers, and there will be a final fight here at point A, but they're going to have to play into a Junkrat tire. The defense will have a Junkrat tire to play with.
Brock Sam gets nothing. Amplification Matrix from the defense. Coalescence coming through from Pogchamp as they try to push in, but here comes the tire from Chaos. Goes over the top, that finds 2! The Doomfist and the Moira gone. Deep Voice had thrown Bob into the mix as well, getting his hands dirty, and the defense will indeed put up a great hold on back point A.
Does take quite a bit of ults, both support ultimates, both DPS ultimates, and it is Senpai that gets staggered out quite a bit, so even though they're close to grab, they will lose all of their ultimate charge, or all of their Zarya charge for this next fight, and we'll have to build it back up. However, the offense is feeling pretty good about this. They have both DPS also line, one tank ult, that Graviton, and the Lucio sound barrier to keep them up their fight. But if TARDIS can pull off something similar to what was going on in Lijiang, one big shatter can end this all and give the defense a chance to recuperate and get some of their ultimates back online.
And the Graviton Surge, I think, is going to be the one to keep an eye on here. Bob and Meteor Strike can be helpful. Possible Space Jam combo available here for Pogchamp as they try to push in. Bob coming out early. Graviton Surge comes out early. Earthshatter used to try to counter back. Doesn't find much. But is going to be attacking Bob. Finding 2 kills. The tire coming out from Camarillo whittled down the attacking team a little bit, but not enough to stave off the assault.
Yeah, the defense was a little bit too far out for a well-placed Bob that was just able to get into their backline and shoot past the Reinhardt shield. And now going for staggers, they won't be able to really find anyone coming out from the defense, and everyone will be able to regroup with their team. And it's the Doomfist that's kind of waiting in the backline trying to push this cart. They did use both DPS ults, the Graviton, the Sound Barrier to get through, but in the meantime, Broccoli was able to build up to a shatter. Relux will be able to use a Coalescence this fight to try and push through, but again, playing into a Junkrat Ashe DPS combo, there's so much ambient damage just flying around that you need to be careful about this defense.
Broccoli throwing down a shatter for the attacking team, but it's TARDIS who finds the goods. Graviton Surge comes out from the defense. Valkyrie used as well, and with the Ashe and the Junkrat, they have all the follow-up they need. So much AoE damage. Good hold. Good hold.
They're able to hold just across the bridge, too. This is where things are going to get very, very deadly for the offense. Unless Deep Voice just gets caught out by Utels, but they do have the res available. So now if Deep Voice is able to get back up, get control in the art gallery, and start laying down cover fire from across, this can get very deadly. A good dynamite comes out early on, and they do have a Bob because of it. But Relux gets very low, might die if they drop the Coalescence too soon.
Chaos exercising some wonderful ult rotation coming up on an Earthshatter as well. Deep Voice picking off Relux, the primary source of healing, gone here for the attackers. And despite having a Bob in their pocket, they're not going to be able to do anything with it. Broccoli drops as well, and another reset here for the Pogchamp cast. Podcast jam. That's what
The Ashe just tries to get across with the coach gun, but ends up
taking a swim.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of a swim. That stagger will cut off another 10 or so seconds from the defense, and now you see a position where Chaos is in a very good ult rotation. They have a Shatter if they want, they have a Junkrat Tire if they want. They could use either of these to kind of just easily win a fight. So you need to be careful of that Moral, of that Bob again, because either of those can get picks, especially if you're out of position like it was that first Bob that won them point A. Now, Camaria looking for a spot to use this Tire, but has been a little bit slow to drop it. Instead, just finds the Lucio with a stray grenade.
One thing about the aggressive posturing of this defense, they have that extra corner to back up to. May not even have to, as like 2 kills early on. Bob comes out from the attacking team, and Chaos will fall back around to this second corner. The corner of death, as I like to call it. TARDIS with that Earth Shatter, going to go ahead and try to push back forward, see if he can find room to throw it down. Not even sure he's going to need it. Broccoli getting his online, so it's a little bit of a tank war up front. Strider comes out from Broccoli, finds nothing. Nevertheless, Basher is the one to push in. 3K there for the Doomfist, putting that right hook to good use. Throws a Meteor Strike down, puts enough hurt on TARDIS where they're going to find that kill. Falls in with a nice kill into Werther's as well. What a performance from Basher on the Doomfist.
You know, as long as Deep Voice doesn't get caught out here, they will have another chance to try and stagger onto point. So someone's going to have to make a play. Someone's likely going to have to sacrifice, but Senpai has a Graviton to just hold them off if they so wish.
That card getting closer in, gets contested with less than a meter to go. Graviton Surge from the attacking team trying to prevent the stall. Deep Voice does get a kill, but the Coalescence comes out just to push it home, get that second point on the board.
Can't be too mad about that, though. You do drag out the ultimates you wanted if you're the defense. You got out you got out the Coalescence, and now you're in a position where you have a Tire. You can find anyone on the offense, but Amari has been very hesitant to try and drop these and make a play. They've been very reactive, to put it bluntly, and you got to find something with it, because when you're in this rank, the Junkrat Tire has to be making plays for your team.
Well, here it comes. We'll see what we can do with this time. May couple it with the Graviton Surge. Can he get it in there? It's going to circle around. The Graviton Surge runs out. Oh, the Tire dies! Does not find the value that they needed. Both of those ultimates going to complete waste. And now the counter ultimate from Broccoli, the Earth Shatter down. 2 kills come through for both team. D-Voice able to keep the defense in this fight, despite the fact that they had lost their Zarya, lost their Baptiste. The defense holding on with just 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and Rialto defense point C is so hard to break, but UTEL gets D-Voice on that Ashe duel. There will be a respawn before this fight comes through, but the Ashe will be a little bit on the back foot, and when both teams have a Bob available, this can very easily turn into an 8v5 pretty quickly.
Coalescence not far behind that Bob for the Pogchamp cast as they're looking to push this thing home. Final fight here on Rialto.
Cards rolling in, about 10 seconds left, and this will become a fight of the Bobs. Relux has a Coalescence to help out their team to make sure that Bob doesn't drop, but the first one on the field is UTEL's.
Amplification Matrix in response from Itzy Boy on the defense, and Chaos able to take full advantage, finding a kill with that, getting rid of the Bob as well. With no more Basher, they don't have to worry about their back line. The defense ready to push all of their attention forward. D-Voice does go down, but here comes the tire from Camaria. Looking for that front line, and it finds it. Both tanks go down. Overtime Wick is already burning. No more sustain left for Pogchamp on this objective. And this is going to be easy cleanup. Camaria finding a pair of kills. TARDIS just swinging on that point, cleaning it off. There goes the Wick. That's as far as Pogchamp will find here in Rialto.
Not too shabby. You do get it past the dreaded point A and point B of Rialto, which are two very hard points to break, especially as far as escort maps go. So,
agreed.
There are plenty of options, but if it does get to a position where Chaos is in point C, then things can get a little bit dicey because that's not very far into the church. It's going to be up to Pogchamp to try and make a play, to try and hold this at either point A or B, and if they don't, then they might be breathing down into a 2-0 at the end of this map, but Rialto, like I said, point A and B aren't free, so there are plenty of opportunities to stop them here.
Oh, there's been plenty of full holds on Rialto. In fact, last I heard, there's more full holds on Rialto than any other map in Overwatch. One of my favorite stats, because you would always think it would be an assault map, but no, last I heard, it's Rialto.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too, because like, just the nature of assault maps, there's a sentiment of inevitability about them, right? Like, 4 minutes is a lot. It's kind of hard to hold it sometimes, but if you play certain compositions or certain heroes, like, you can give yourself easily visible win conditions, like play for a Genji Blade, play for a Nano Blade, play for an EMP, stuff like that. Whereas Escort's not free. In order to take point A, you need to win at least 2 fights, one early on, one very late on in Rialto, because the end of points are so hard to break, and there's an early part of chokes that are so hard to break. You can generally get 2 very good fights out, so you need a very good ultimate advantage in order to take any point. Deep Voice is rolling out on this Widow, so they definitely scouted and expected this Pharmacy coming out, but looks like they're just going to give it up and switch after Basher decides to not show his face around town.
Yeah, Deep Voice going to swap over to the Ashe. Camaria finds first blood. Relux goes down. So the healer gone for the defense, and now Pogchamp's just kind of forced to slowly retreat a bit into Courtyard, opening things up for this Ashe and Junkrat of the attacking team to do their jobs. Deep Voice finding the headshot onto the far, clipping the wings, clearing the skies. And it's looking like just full steam ahead for this cart. Chaos gonna put a point on the board here.
Shatter.
Yeah. He's got that Shatter online. He throws it down recklessly, though. Broccoli right there with the shield. Coalescence from the attackers. He's going to try to open this thing up, but Relux right there with a Coalescence of his own. 4-man Shatter from the defense. As I can't believe it. Pogchamp cast holds on the back of point A. I thought Chaos had that for sure.
Yeah, they actually invested the Shatter in Coalescence too, but the Shatter was just a little too ambitious, trying to find a big play where you didn't really need to force it. And the defense comes back firing, blows their own Coalescence, blows their own Valkyrie very quickly, and their own Shatter. So they probably wanted at least one of those ultimates back, but for now they get to rest easy because they didn't give up point A with a 3-minute time bank. That would have been devastating.
The defense also has both DPS, Ult, Gravitic Flux to work with. So not bad rotation at all. Semi-expensive fight for them, but they make the hold, like you say, avoid that 3-minute deficit. Here comes the barrage from the defense. It's going to find one, trying to get more pressure on a Deep Voice, but he's going to end up winning that duel with a little help from his Zarya. Meanwhile, back on the front line, both Reinhardts just going hammer to hammer, and Broccoli on the defense wins that duel. Pogchamp pass, holding on for another life here.
Yeah, but these late kills onto the defense, they do lose Deep Voice even later, though, so I shouldn't be talking too much about it. Rye6N gets taken down by that Ash Dynamite, which would have been huge had Deep Voice gotten out. But now we're in a position where we see a lot of check marks coming online. They will have dueling butlers at some point around this point, but, you know, even more importantly, Kamaria has that tire. They need to make a play with it because they've been a little bit hesitant to drop it and try and find value. So if they can get, you know, Sigma out of a Gravitic Flux, that would be huge.
Graviton Surge tire combo. This one a little bit better timed. 2 kills coming through on the back of that. Withers is going to finish it off with a kill on the Broccoli as well. Trying to find the Moira. Chasing the Moira down across the bridge as the cart starting to roll in. Basher's going to move in for the contest on the far. Drop it out of the sky. But was too close to the point. Too much damage to overcome.
And that will be a late kill on the Basher's far. And now the defense has to reel backwards, try and regroup. But TARDIS isn't going to let them. If he finds any opening, the Shatter will be dropped. And they're just chunking down these tanks. Broccoli gets very low, but is able to get out. And now Basher makes the very late swap over to McCree. And they're going to be running double hit scan to try and deal with this Junkrat, to try and deal with this Ash, to try and put more pressure onto the DPS. But the Coalescence was just blown to try and regroup and make sure no one dies, and eventually will find Kamaria.
Yeah, Utel working a little bit of a flank angle there, was able to pick off Kamaria with the help from that Coalescence, like you were saying, but it looks like Chaos gonna manage to try and push around this corner. Again, another little bit over anxious Earth Shatter from the attackers, and Broccoli responds with a much better one. Here comes the Gravitic Flux to try to follow up on that defensive Shatter, and that's gonna get Itsy Boy down. Basher is gonna take out Kamaria as well, who recently swapped over to the McCree. And that's gonna be another good hold here on this very difficult corner for Pogchamp.
Yeah, this is the corner of Rialto too, where you see pushes go to die, right? Like every time it gets the turn, this is such a good defensive position that teams struggle here, and you see it happening very readily. Deep Voice opts to make the swap over to Widow to try and open up a pick for their team to try and make this next fight, you know, a 5v6 in their favor, but they don't really have much going for them besides that. They have the Coalescence, but Relux sitting pretty with their own. They have their Bob. There's quite a few defensive answers to this fight.
We're going to get dueling Coalescence over the objective. Bomb thrown in for Pogchamp on the defense. Deep Voice does find first kill, and TARDIS with a better Shatter this time throws it right on to Broccoli. He doesn't care. And Utel, the Butler finds a pair, and he gets a nice kill not only onto the Widowmaker, but onto Kamaria as well. A 4K there for Utel on the Ash before finally getting taken out. And a good hold. TARDIS with a nice fire strike takes Basher down, but I don't think they have the reinforcements to continue this push.
Yeah, unfortunately, Itsy Boy tries to be fancy, make a play, but is taken down, gets staggered, but Kamaria finds Rye6N at the end of that fight. So now there's a short opportunity where you can take this, not have to deal with the Mercy or the Res, but Kamaria has a tire. That's all they should need to open up this fight in any way.
They're going to have that Graviton Surge as well. Be looking for that combo to come out as they've made it around the difficult corner. Chasing people off the flank, trying to see if they can find that second point on the board. Graviton Surge gets eaten by the Kinetic Grasp, but the tire does work anyways. 3 kills for Kamaria as it looks like he's finally finding his stride with those Junkrat ultimates. A big late charge from TARDIS to take out the Mercy.
And this cart will get free distance through this early choke on point C, which is exactly where Pogchamp Cast wanted to do something. Like, this is where you see holds being made on Rialto. And unfortunately, because of the staggers, because of the nature of that last fight on B, they will not have a chance to do it. So they will have to hold this cart from the church. And, you know, with 2 Reinhardt Shatters on the field, the better Shatter wins.
TARDIS throws the Shatter, finds 3. Broccoli tries to counter Shatter, but it gets blocked. I don't think the follow-up was there, but the Shadow was enough to clear the space! Oh my goodness! Chaos pushes it in for free, and they're up 2-0 here in our match, Pulse.
I don't think they realized how little distance they had to give up on that cart. Like I said earlier, if it got to C, it would basically be a free win for Chaos just because of how early into the church that was stopped. You basically had to be outside of the church if you wanted to hold it as the defense, and they were just not in a position to deal with that and more or less have to give it over for free to Chaos. Now 2-0 in this series. Chaos looking to take this home once we go to our next map, and I believe it is hybrid, and both these teams do like the same map. Go figure, Kings Row. So we will likely be going there after a short break, but definitely stay tuned for the end of this rookie match.
Welcome back, my friends, to Season 5 of the GitGud Championship. We are here at halftime here in our rookie matchup between Chaos and Pogchamp Cast. Chaos with a 2-0 lead here as we head into Kings Row. It's going to be Pogchamp's pick for map 3 here, Pulse.
Yeah, and again, like we saw this earlier, Kings Row is just such a hard favorite for so many teams in so many different divisions that a match without Kings Row doesn't feel like an actual Overwatch match, right?
Agreed. And it seems to be the real test of your fundamentals. The fundamentals of rotation and ult usage, cooldown usage. This is a real fundamentals map. That it's not typically flashy plays and star carries are going to win you Kings Row.
For sure. And honestly, too, one of the nice things about Kings Row is no matter what meta you're in, you can basically run whatever you want on any point of the map. Like,
so true.
Teams tend to like to run Ryan Zarya just because it is like a very basic map, a very basic composition, and a lot of people just like Ryan and Zarya, and you can't argue with that. But with the way these teams have been playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see more of the same. I wouldn't be surprised to see more Junkrat, more Ashe, because both those heroes are just very powerful on Kings Row, where there's not a lot of high ground, not a lot of vertical space to use, and a Junkrat can get a lot of value. And really, one of the big things to counter a Junkrat here is you just have to recognize it and go Pharah. But Pharah isn't one of, like, there's not a lot of aerial cover for a Pharah either, so it provides a lot of struggles for teams here.
Well, and with
that Junkrat, yeah.
Right, and the Junkrat coming out of Chaos, I would expect to see the Zarya on the other side. Pogchamp have opted to run with that Sigma most of the time through our 2 maps so far. So we'll see if they change things up coming in here. I mean, the Zarya can get so much charge off of that spam and can really counterpunch back. But, you know, the Sigma, once his shield's out of the picture, there's not a whole lot to defend against a Junkrat.
And, like, Zarya has been always seen as sort of like a traditional counter to Junkrat. Senpai did, I believe, run it on Control Center earlier, so it wouldn't be terribly surprising.
Right.
But a lot of these fights really have just been coming down to the amount of ambient damage being thrown around by Chaos. Like, you only have one Zarya bubble. There's an Ashe Dynamite being thrown out. There's, like, Junkrat nades flying around every single corner, Kunk Mine, stuff like that. And it's... both teams have been more or less running these Mora compositions, so you just have infinite healing to try and deal with the ambient damage, but it's just hard to deal with Dynamite, Reinhammer, Zarya beams, Junkrats flying around, and Pogchamp really don't have a good direct answer to it yet, which is why they've been falling a little bit short in some of these fights so far.
You make very valid points, my friend. Deep Voice really turning up on that Ashe for Chaos. Wonderful Dynamites. I mean, it's... not unusual, but it's good to see so much value coming out of those Dynamites. It's such a key part of her kit.
Absolutely. I personally would like to see an Ana answer. I don't know if either of these teams can afford to drop a Moira for it, though, right now, because just from the sheer amount of ambient damage coming out, like, we've seen a lot of answers trying to be like, oh, can we, like, just push through this? But I think if you can really catch Chaos on the back foot when they're trying to go in to follow up on Junkrat damage and Ashe nades, and you land a purple, that would be a very easy win condition for Pogchamp to just turn a fight quickly. However, running Ashe, or running like an Ana Moira, is something that we haven't really seen a lot of teams around this rank do so far. So it's kind of hard to keep up with all of the damage coming in. Like, your Ana can't miss any shots, you can't be too focused on landing a purple, because sometimes you will need those nades to protect your team, to keep them up through the damage. But a good Ana grenade into your team with a lot of Moira healing will keep you up through Ashe Dynamite. It will keep you up through Junkrat tires as long as you're not too far out of position.
But as coordinated as Chaos has been, they're not going to let those things happen easily. And against this team, like you said, you just have to land all perfect sleep darts and land those cooldowns in ideal fashion to get the value of an Ana that you would this Moira. Defense coming out here with the Ryan Zarya, not too surprised there. Ashe and Junkrat put the hurt down.
It's worth noting, both teams are running a bat now. The offense, Relux, is going to be on that Moira, but Itzy Boy and Rai69N are going to be on the bat piece. So that's kind of going to be their answer to this Ashe, to try and keep people up through Dynamites. But it's Utel that gets picked out early on from Deep Voice just around the corner.
Basher trying to answer back on this Hanzo. So far, not landing the arrows quite what they're looking for. This defense doing a good job of keeping Pogchamp in check so far here on King's Row. 40 seconds already eaten off the clock. Deep-Voice trying to get Util, but the Immortality Field there just in time. Does turn around and get the kill onto Broccoli. Basher answers back, but without their Reinhardt, I don't think Pogchamp can push into this.
Can't really push into this, and that flick onto the Ashe was very nice, but again, they have the res available to them on the defense. And right now, you just see Kamaria getting closer and closer to that tire, whereas Util just switched over the Junkrat themselves at only 30% now. So, massive ult advantage in this. They're going to have to be playing into a tire, but TARDIS is caught out a little bit by this Hanzo and needs to back up and save some shield health.
Yep, I'm about to say, the Moro circling around the statue there, drop Coalescence. Tire from Kamaria finds one, and the Immortality Field used from the attackers. Deep-Voice getting the kill onto Basher as well. And somehow TARDIS manages to fall back into the safety of his healers, allowing the defense to hold on here.
Yeah, this will give the defense, too, a good opportunity to regroup. They only use the tire. Util going for some big Junkrat plays, jumps up, throws out both Kunk Mines, doesn't get anything for it, and now it's going to be up to the Baptiste from the offense. Rise 6N has the window available to them. One window, one fire strike could lead to a devastating blow to this defense. They just need to be careful with it.
Broccoli coming up on an Earthshatter as well, but they've got to look out. Both support ults online for the defense. Bob and Earthshatter available for Chaos. And it looks like Basher trying to kind of poke and prod through the hotel, but goes down. Another fantastic dynamite from Deep-Voice. We've seen them all day, and that's going to prompt a reset here for Pogchamp.
Yeah, and there hasn't been a good fight for the offense. They just kind of drop one person every time they walk through the choke, and the defense hasn't had to invest ults to save themselves at any point. So now you see 5 check marks available. They have everything but the tire, which will come online soon, but the offense now finally, if they can get in here, get into a position where they can start dropping ults, they'll be in quite the pretty situation themselves with 5 of their own built up and Relux getting very close to that 6th.
With as little time that's on the clock, Pogchamp needs to be careful not to use them all. Basher, good start. Gets the headshot onto Deep-Voice as Pogchamp looking to try to get some progress started on King's Row. So far, just the Ant Matrix used on the attack as they're being very conservative on their approach with all of these ultimates. Util finds a kill on a bird, and then here comes a tire from Util. It's coupled with the dragons. They're going to get one kill between the two ultimates. Rise 6 follows it up with another kill, and Pogchamp will eventually get point A unlocked, but I fear they use too many ults.
Yeah, a little ambitious. They're definitely going to want some of those back, but with the late stagger kill onto Deep-Voice, it's going to force the defense to go all the way back. Even a later stagger kill.
Oh, no.
That's... You hate to see it, folks, but now the defense is going to have to go all the way back to C. This Junkrat from Kamaria is going to try and get in a cheeky flank position, but if Broccoli is able to relay that back to the team, you saw the Mercy beam up there, so you got to know someone's hiding around the corner. Kamaria is set up for a flank tire. They just need to make sure they have 6, and Bird gets caught out.
Ooh, Basher with a long shot takes out the Mercy. And that one mistake from Itzy Boy has just given so much room to Pogchamp. Almost the entirety of point B at their disposal. Kamaria on that off angle does manage to sneak up and take out Basher. It's going to throw his tire into the mix, but that gets taken out by Util, the Junkrat from the attacker's side. In the end, yeah, we're going to get a bomb coming out from the defense as well. Deep-Voice throwing a big dynamite in the back. Somehow, Chaos able to retake some progress or retake some positioning here on the second point of King's Row. Now Coalescence and Earthshatter coming out from the attackers. Earthshatter is pretty good, finds 3. Can they find the follow-up? The Coalescence able to burn down TARDIS. And that's a heck of a start. Priority kill with the main tank gone. Pogchamp looking to push through cleanups, even to finally get this second point on the board.
Werther's needs to be careful and not die here, though. They have 100% charge on Azari. That's absolutely devastating if you die now and lose it. But there will be one final opportunity for the defense to come in and try and do something with this. The offense has been a little easy to throw out these ultimates, so they don't have a whole lot. And now it's TARDIS' turn to try and find something here.
Dueling Ant Matrix on the back of point B. The attackers, the last used, so the later up. Nevertheless, no kills coming through with that. Most they're going to get is TARDIS' shield kind of weak, but that means he's just going to throw his shatter down. find two with the shatter. Are the kills there though? Werther's drops his, finds a kill, but the Graviton Surge can come out from Senpai in the process. And that's going to allow that second point to finally get picked up. Pogchamp winning the ultimate trade there on the back of point B.
We do see Chaos able to shave some time off the clock. Now down to 2 minutes. A little bit better, especially given their quick give up ish of point B. They kind of just folded through most of it, but because they're able to hold on to point A for so long, they're in a decent spot. Deep Voice has this Bob to run out with the best card, and they do need to be careful of a Shatter and a Tire coming out from this offense, though.
Graviton Surge to start things off from the defense. Deep Voice picking off Util from a distance. No follow-up on the Graviton Surge, but nevertheless a one-man advantage, and they've already forced out Immortality Field, so there's nothing else for Pogchamp to rely on, and they're just going to back right on out here. A little bit of a reset coming through.
And a reset it is. 1 minute 40 on the clock. Defense buys some more time for themselves, but again, you see the offense in a position where they're just building up towards 6 ult. Basher, the only one really without it, but TARDIS caught out by the Coalescence, taken down, and this is almost a free fight for the defense, or for the offense.
Broccoli with a 4-man shatter there. After that happened, Util finding himself a kill as well, but it's the only 2 kills coming through. The defense setting themselves up for a big retake on the back of this. 70 seconds on the clock. Both DPS ults online as Chaos pushes back in. Throws a tire onto the objective, but gets caught out in a duel there with Util. Util winning that battle, and now has a tire online as the defense is all crunched up. Oh, Macar Maria with the better tire! That's a 3K tire just to shut down this attack in an instant.
You almost saw Util go for some sort of backcat play, but a little too soon to find any value. He gets taken out to regroup with the team, and now Util is the next one to answer back with a tire. They have it online. They don't really have much to combo with it quite yet, but Senpai very close to that Graviton. If they want to do something with it, they can. Honestly, though, they probably shouldn't even bother. They have the Hanzo ultimate coming online. They have the Graviton coming online. Just use those two and you get a free fight run.
Yeah, perhaps use the tire early, see if you can get a couple of picks here with that. Util throwing it down. Let's see if they can find any value. Looks like you're going to go for the high ground. Look for the Ash. Find the Ash indeed. Deep Voice is now just scattered in pieces across the high ground. Yeah, the Immortality Field used as well. Here comes the... Oh! The Dragons just barely got off. I thought the Dragons got interrupted by the Earth Shatter, but no! Basher just barely managed to get the Dragons out, find the kills, and with the overtime Wicca burning, Pogchamp cast may finally get this 3rd point on the board. They will indeed.
3 points. It did take until overtime to do it, but you do get at least 3 points. So now it's going to be up to Chaos. If they want to win it here, they need to cap with over a minute left. Like, that's your only option. Otherwise, you're looking at either a draw situation or potential loss. And so far, Chaos has looked pretty strong, but after that halftime break, Pogchamp has definitely come back, gotten their head a little bit more into the series, and look a little bit stronger despite the slow start here on Kings Row.
Absolutely, and now going on the defense, hoping that will be enough to get that goose egg out of their map score.
Yeah, going home with a 3-0 would be a little bit disappointing for Pogchamp, especially since their record so far has been pretty good, and they've been putting up quite a fight, but it's just very frequently coming up as just shy, and you just definitely don't want to go down 3-0 to a team that's technically one map worse, but, you know, it happens sometimes. Sometimes the mental game just isn't there, and you can't put too much thought into it, but hopefully we get to see them strike back a little bit stronger here on their defense. Hopefully they can put up a fight. They are coming out on this Hanzo Mei, so Mei, very traditionally a good pick on Kings Row just because of that early choke, just because around the statue, just because of the hotel. All 3 of those various push angles are very easily thwarted by a good Mei wall. They are running the Baptiste and Moira again, so plenty of healing will come out. And I do think they found a little bit of an answer to the Dynamite and the Junkrat in that Immortality Field.
Yeah, a lot of narrow room to work with for the Mei to split, do a little divide and conquer. In fact, that's exactly what's going to happen to TARDIS right out of the gate. Great play. Camarilla does strike back as Rysix falls. And so, opportunity for an early power play, yeah, here for Chaos.
That's a lot of their healing, especially in running a Bat Moira comp. Your Bat is going to be late to this fight. Offense has a spawn advantage, but the Mei wall is going to come up, try and find someone. but they're not really pushing it. They have to be careful coming in here because they know the Mei wall's there. Try to bait it out.
Yeah, exactly. Tardis, you can see him just kind of stepping a toe in, trying to bait it out. Does bait it out and falls back onto the safe side of the wall. Camaria trying to work the hotel, see if he can find someone on the flank. Picks up Yuto with the mine through the back. Finds Relux with a second. Primary source of healing gone. Here for Pogchamp on the point. And now Chaos free to push in, get aggressive, clean up the back half of the team. They're going to get this card out of the garage here after such cleanup.
Made us stay alive a little bit longer than needed to, but again, it's such a fast take. Only a minute 20 left on the clock. Really one fight down, and even though they lost the first fight, you do see the first ultimate online right now. It's Tardis's on that Reinhardt. Generally not the one to get it first when you're playing into a Junkrat Mei, but alas, he's found the value, found the space to build up an ultimate, and Camaria is going to be just behind with that tire along with Bird's Coalescence. They have all the tools to push through this as soon as they want.
Pogchamp with a Earthshatter of their own. Basher coming up on that Blizzard. So definitely tools here for the defense if they can find the value with it. Oh, and especially if Util can get sneaky and go up there and take Deep Voice out of the window. Good start. Camaria hanging out on a flank of his own, seeing if they can find some value with the tire to try to answer back, try to push through the start of streets. There goes the tire into the back line. No, Immortality Field's there. Great play from R6, though. Eventually does fall. Blizzard coming out from the defense. That's going to find 3. Broccoli and Util able and there, following up, getting the kills, and Pogchamp making a hold here in front of Bookstore.
Yeah, and just that hesitation from Camaria coming out on the tire, was waiting too long to try and find the perfect one when there's just plenty of room to just go for one at any point there. So a little bit because of that, you do see this cart get held at the choke. Now Camaria trying to fight this Junkrat in the top, but Util just really holding down this top area by himself. Tardis is going to have to find a shatter, maybe deep voice something with this Dragon Strike if they want to push through here, but already the defense is just sort of backing up and giving them space to work with.
Earthshatter out from Broccoli, finds nothing but the shield and Tardis. Close to a Gravitage Surge. They got the combo coming up online shortly. The Earthshatter came out from Tardis, but Immortality Field there. Defense able to hold on with the help from the Coalescence of Relux. So back to spawn goes Chaos, but they'll be coming back with that Grav Dragon combo.
Yeah, but more importantly, the defense is starting to get in a position where they're just shaving off time, right? That's all you're really playing for. Junkrat duel in the high ground, and Camaria is able to back out before dying. We did see Util have the Baptiste behind him to try and back him up, but Deep Voice gets high ground control, trying to look for the Junkrat and finds the headshot.
Beautiful shot. Chaos knew they had to clean off that high ground. Deep Voice happy to oblige. And now with that Graviton Surge, Dragon combo ready. They head in behind Bookstore. The Ice Wall comes up to try to deny the value, but nope, that's just something for the Dragons to spawn off of. 3 kills coming through, and it's full speed ahead here for Chaos.
Yeah, as soon as that Junkrat died, you saw it. Both the tanks, both Tardis and Werther's rush forward, try and get them. But there is a Baptiste with Rise 6N just hiding in the background. I don't think they realize he's there, but he will be able to rush out and touch if he so wants, but he's going to have to trade his life for it because no one on the team is there to follow up.
Util up high, takes out Deep Voice, who is in a very aggressive position up on that catwalk. Here comes Rise 6 with the flanking amplification matrix. He's not just going to touch, he's going to try to kill everybody. Tire coming out from the attackers, Basher responding with the Blizzard. 2 kills for Chaos. They have the one-man advantage, but now Util throwing his tire and finds 3! That was the equalizer. Pogchamp needed, and back to spawn goes Chaos.
All the way down to 2 minutes, too. This is a devastating spot for the cart to be stopped because now the offense is going to have to waste a minute for every single fight they want to take. Really only 2, maybe a third if the 2 fights are quick, but D-Voice already set up, pushed a little bit far ahead. If they can find out Util on this Junkrat flank in high ground, he's just been camping up here this entire fight in point B, and just throw out a couple nades so they know where he is, but defense right now has the ultimate advantage in the Moira. Really, it's gonna come down to that here because the more he goes through shield, will pressure Tardis a lot out on Ryan, and at that point it's gonna be bigger shatter takes all.
Deep Voice falls early, just taking further time off the clock here. Chaos gonna have to wait for that soft reset.
And this might even be a position where they had 2 fights guaranteed before. Now they're just looking at maybe 1 at best, but if we keep seeing staggers come out from the defense, it won't even be that. However, Deep-Boy struggling to find some damage on Utel on the high ground, and the Maywall goes in, the Shatter finds nothing, and right now the Ryan's caught out.
Counter Shatter a little bit better, finds Werther's. Utel takes out Bird, and Sustain just cut down drastically for Chaos as they try to push in, but Camaria finds a pair of kills, finds Lux on the other side, Broccoli and Utel answering back, and we're at a 3v3 here on the point, but Chaos gonna back out, see if they can get that last fight in.
Camaria gets out with, I'm pretty sure, what was actually 1 health, but Utel, even more importantly, has built up to that tire. Won them the fight last time, they have another shot here for it. That's really the only option they have available. Rise 6N will have a window, but the window's going to have to be early if it finds value, whereas Werther's has that Graviton now.
With the Coalescence to help burn down anybody caught in it. Utel with the tire. The Graviton Surge is out. Graviton Surge finds 3. And Amplification Matrix in the back. Coalescence does burn down. Both tanks missing for the defense. We'll see if Utel tries to invest the tire. Basher with the Blizzard. Are they going to try to throw those into holes here in the back of point B? No. 2 points on the board for Chaos.
And that unfortunate May stagger, even the Junkrat the May came out late, unable to touch early. Now 1 minute 30 on the clock. We're saying that Chaos has to take this, but they would have liked to take it with over a minute. Now that's basically impossible, so Pogchamp in a position where they can still draw or win this and get back into the series if they're careful. They have a Bob available, they have a Junkrat available, so they can roll through this pretty quickly if Pogchamp is not careful, but they will have another shot at the very least.
Pogchamp with Graviton Surge, a Blizzard, and a tire of their own. The offensive tire coming out first. Nice play. Werther's takes out the Immortality Field. Now the tire drops in, finds Broccoli, finds Relux. 2 very, very important kills. Blizzard from the defense will not be enough to stave off the aggression. There comes the 3rd point, and a 35-second advantage in the time bank as we head to extra innings here, Pulse.
But both teams have extra innings, and that's the really important thing here. We did see Pogchamp struggle a little bit more on their offense, so they're going to have to step it up if they want to stay in the series. But at the very least, they have a chance to stay in the series, which wasn't guaranteed coming into this.
At least they get that attack round.
Yeah, that's the big thing coming out. Like Pogchamp, they're very could have easily been a point where they were playing for a draw here, like we saw in our last match from the 2 advanced teams, where on Hanamura they were playing for the draw to stay in the series as opposed to, you know, having a shot to actually win the map. But because they have that chance, because they will be going first, they get to set their own pace, see how far they have to get, and they will see how far they have to actually hold as well. So everything is reliant on how good of a first push this Pogchamp team can get.
No changes coming out of Chaos as they take to the defense. Ryan Zarya in the front line. Junkrat Ash put the hurt down. Mercy Baptiste keeping the team alive and standing. Looks like a double spam being shown to us right now here from Pogchamp.
Yeah, you know, when both your DPS line goes boom, sometimes you can find enough boom to get some kills. But Basher is going to be coming out on that pharmacy, which honestly might be an answer to this. They do need to be careful of Deep Voice, because Deep Voice has been getting plenty of shots in addition to those dynamites. But if they keep this, if they find some value, this might be the opening that they need. It might be the special sauce that gets them point A here.
At the very least, Basher can corral the defense, force them back behind Hotel, and not allow them to take as much space control, which is exactly what Chaos is doing. They're going to go ahead and just back up behind the Hotel. Camaria holding down the Hotel itself, trying to deny the flank from Utel. We've seen just how much Utel likes to work these off angles on the defense there. And Chaos needs to be careful as Basher is corralled them all together nicely. Set him up for a big kill from Utel. It's Boy throwing on the Immortality Field to protect his tanks. As the front line of Chaos, well, they're going to go ahead and get aggressive here. They've had enough of all this damage. Oh, and Tardis, he caught out in the open, cannot survive. Deep Voice with a nice counterpunch back takes out Basher. But Sans Reinhardt, this defense might struggle. Oh, so Werther's, he's like, fine, I'll take down the German Crusader on the other side. But with the bubble available, Rez comes through from R6. Amplification makes from the defense, but it's not going to be enough. Basher drops a barrage onto the point, and that is going to help clean things up, despite taking out his own self. Oh, I mean, now there's now there's a bomb out who finds 2 kills. The rest have come through from Werther's and they make a big stand. What was that? Holy cow!
That was 2 massive flips. However, Pogchamp doesn't go home empty-handed, but 33.6. That's almost nothing.
That's almost nothing.
Yeah, like all that really means is they have a shot to win if they full hold, because like that is essentially 1 tick. So you got something on the board, but you got the very minimum on the board. And now they're going to have a much better hold than the defense. Any more than a tick, they lose this, but they did set themselves up to at least not draw it.
Well, I mean, it's win or lose now. There are no middle ground options left for these teams. Match point. $1.35 on the clock for Chaos as they go on the attack. Pogchamp, hoping they can take us to a 4th map, get a point on the board. They're going to use Ryan Sigma in that vein and bringing out the Mei once again on the defense.
Mm-hmm. And nothing too surprising given what they've been running so far. They did do the Mei, the Junkrat last time. And they put up not terrible of a hold, definitely over 1.5 minutes. So if they can perform similarly, then they still have a shot to stay in this. However, the big difference is going to be that Ashe versus Mei. Deep Voice gets in, gets 1 good headshot, and it's game over for Pogchamp.
Here we go. Gates are open. The final attack round on King's Row is underway. Chaos, can you get it done with a $1.30 on the clock?
D-Force drops very low. If that pick actually went through, that would have been perfect for the defense. However, the Mei wall comes up. No one's really in position to capitalize on it, and we see all of Chaos get in for free.
Yeah, nothing fancy here. Chaos just going right up the gut. Camarilla is once again going to flank around through Hotel, look for a bit of the off angles onto the supports. Throws down 1 mine, but knows he's got to back out there. Cannot linger too long. That's a very dangerous spot. The offense doing a good job of just kind of poking and prodding on Pogchamp right now. The Mei wall comes up, but once again, not a whole lot of follow-up, but an early blizzard. Basher got that up lightning fast. Oh my goodness. But 2 kills come through on the other side. Chaos the one taking advantage. Rez there, but now the Mei goes down. Oh, Deep Voice Dynamite! Kill Dynamite to close it out. Talk about going out with a bang. Chaos wins King's Row and will take the clean 3-0 sweep.
We're looking at Camarilla to open up something on the flank there, but it's Deep Voice just laying down their own explosives, getting the 3K, cleaning it up, and taking down Pogchamp. A team that has been 5-1 up until now, down to 3-0 in a series, and a very decisive 3-0 at that.
Very decisive. Yeah, I mean, we had some extra innings played, but a Deep Voice with 16,000 hero damage done. Great showing from them on the Ashe there in our final map. And for our 2nd match in a row, the 4-2 team overcomes the team with the 5-1 record, equalizing. And now Chaos moving to 5-2. The Pogchamp casts moving to 5-2 as well, as there's just 3 matches left here in the group stage.
Mm-hmm. This is, like you said, the 7th match, 4th week of GitGud NA. So we still have 1 more week to close this out for teams to try and secure their playoff spots, really. But both these teams, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them again later on in some of the playoff brackets that we're seeing.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, at this stage in the game, the big dogs are starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. But that is going to do it for our matches here today. We really appreciate y'all joining and hanging out with us. Be sure and follow the Elo Hell Esports on Twitter. That is at Elo Hell Esports. Get notified of all the upcoming events. Yep, like the Pluto Cup coming up. If you are a sub to the Elo Hell Twitch channel, go sign up for the Pluto Cup. It's for solo and duo signups. If you do it as a duo, only one of you needs to be a sub on a channel. It is or on the Elo Hell Sports Twitch channel. A way to reward our subscribers there. And keep an eye out as GitGud moves to console for the very first time. We will have that starting for you tomorrow morning. And I'm in the EA time, so it will be morning for me. But that will be happening at 11 a.m. Eastern, maybe noon Eastern, game start in the EU region for GitGud console.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of cool stuff coming out from Elo Hell this season.
Yeah.
You know, the console tournament's finally there. I know a lot of people are asking for it. The Pluto Cup's there, so a way to reward some people that have been sticking with us and have been supporting Elo Hell throughout, and definitely a lot of cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned to all of the stuff that we have planned.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We hope to see you soon. Y'all remember to look out for each other in game and out as always. Y'all have a wonderful day.